We are the farmer family, and we have been missionaries for most of our lives.
We've been on some epic adventures and thought it was about time to take you along.
Many of you have enjoyed Café Guapo, so I thought I'd take you guys along and show you the process that I go through before giving you guys the bag. First, I need to go to the factory and buy some beans.
We just arrived here at the coffee factory. Let's go in and buy some beans. In the factory, they had mounds of coffee everywhere. And in the bags, they had coffee at every stage of the process. Before it reaches the factory, it must be picked. These plants grow in the mountains in elevations 3,000 to 5,000 feet. The coffee berries are ready to be picked when they are a bright cherry red. The beans I use are grown in the mountains around our town to peak. The next stage is drying. The main way coffee beans are dried are on black tarps in the open sun. This takes about 4 to 7 days. This is what the dry beans look like. The next step in the process is removing the husk, which is what this machine does here. It shakes the husk off in a violent form, which is much faster than doing it by hand, and that is the final result before roasting. Next step, roasting. This is a large commercial roaster that this big factory uses. Most of the coffee that you get is roasted in larger roasters like this, which runs continuously for multiple hours.
So now that we're back from the factory and we got some green coffee beans, I want to explain to you guys what my roaster is and how it works. So I modeled this off of most big drum coffee roasters like what they had in the factory. On this side, this is an apple peeler that I chopped up and reused to help spin and use for the handle to spin my drum. This is a drum, this is a gallon-sized can that I've put into, I've drilled holes, and I've added mini fins and support on the inside of the drum to help spin the beans around so they can get evenly roasted, because if it wasn't spinning, then one side of the beans would be burnt and the other side would not be cooked at all. So on the other end of the drum, I have used a pizza pan to cover up the end of the drum because it's completely open, and I use this opening here to check the beans as they're roasting with the spoon that I've made. As the beans spin around the drum, it fills up the spoon. And I've added a stand, I've added bearings here to keep the drum connected to the pizza pan and allow smooth spinning. So on the other end of the drum, I use this pizza pan to cover up the big hole, and this opening I use to check the beans as they're roasting, because as the drum spins, it flips up beans and I catch it in my spoon. I also use that hole to dump the beans out into the strainer so I can get them to the fan as quick as possible. So an average roast time is about 12 to 15 minutes. What affects that is the amount of beans I put in and the degree of darkness I cook the beans to. For a dark roast, I'm seeing about 15 to 16 minutes. For a light roast, it's more towards 11 minutes. So when it comes to roasting, the first thing I do is I warm the pan up to help kickstart the roast. Then, I dump my beans in. So right now I'm cooling the beans off. It's important they get the beans cooled off as fast as possible to stop the roasting. So once it's done roasting, I wait 24 hours because the first 24 hours after a bean is roasted, it releases carbon dioxide. After it vented for 24 hours, then I fill up the bag and give the customer's product. And that's the interesting process that Café Guapo goes through before reaching your house.